You're watching the TCMMA podcast.
First up, you got Ghost 960 Red Bull saying no, he won't. Adesanya will not beat Dricus du Plessis. Hey, you're not the only one that's saying that. 57%, right? Are saying that. 57%. Muhammad Abdi 5424 says because Stipe is the GOAT at heavyweight. I'm not sure why that's hard to comprehend. Oh my goodness. Whether you think Stipe is still able to live up to the perception is another story, but the overall consensus is that Stipe is the greatest of all time in the UFC heavyweight division. Really? Even if it's just the optics, it's important for Jon to overcome that perception so that once he defeats the Giant, he'll become the new Giant. He can take anybody on after that. I know fans want to see the Aspinall fight, but they are being disingenuous when they act like they can't for the life of them comprehend why Jon Jones wants Stipe. To say Stipe is the best of all time is really a joke. To me, Francis Ngannou is the best of all time. Maybe he didn't hold the belt as long. Maybe he left the UFC and this and that. But if other than Jon Jones, if Francis Ngannou stayed in the UFC, nobody would beat him for a long time. It just didn't work out. Stipe, I don't know when the last fight was for Stipe. It's had to be at least 2 or 3 years ago. And whatever happened to the rule that if you hold the belt longer than a year, you lose the belt? They stopped following that rule. This is why you have interim champions and things like that. If a guy gets an interim belt, you should have to fight him. That's why they have an interim belt, because someone's on the sidelines. They set up an interim belt, and whoever wins the interim belt fights for the title next. Now all of a sudden you got guys defending interim belts. So you got like 2 champions. What's happening here? You're on an island, not by yourself, but with very few people. There's a lot of people that really think Jon Jones to me is just taking his sweet time. He knows he's going to whoop Stipe. The guy hasn't fought in 2 or 3, 4 years, whatever. And then he's going to get another year. He's not going to fight Aspinall till 2026 at this rate. And he'll probably retire if he beats Stipe. I mean, something's going on here. JTTJ says, you're a moron. Right? And this is what you get sometimes. I mean, it is what it is. I'm just simply talking about the Apex Center, and you get called a moron. But it's all good. I mean, it's all good. NBA says Drake is going to finish Izzy second round sub/KO. I hear you. Another one weighing in said, I'm coming back here after the fight. Let's see. In terms of Brito versus Juarez at Contender Series, but that fight's not happening now. Stephen Graham says, I absolutely remember that fight. Chuck Liddell is a bad MF. I miss Liddell. Dana White saying that Chuck Liddell KOing Tito Ortiz is one of his best memories in UFC history. Mainly because he didn't like Tito Ortiz, right? So watching Chuck Liddell take him out was a great time for Dana White. So that's why he said that. Austin Laxton says, dude, I have no idea who to take in this one, laugh out loud. I don't know how Chandler's gas tank is either. And that's last week when you got Santos versus Chelsea Chandler. Chelsea Chandler came in overweight, and that ruined our prediction because that just made Yana Santos mad, and she took it to her in the first 2 rounds and ran away with the victory. Absolutely. At Jason says, Luana Santos not being in Australia yet is a bad look. That's like a week and a half before the fight. And that's not, that's kind of different. Usually the fighters are there pretty quick, but she's taking her time. Bo Jackson says, Shafkat is great. He knows how to finish ranked guys, unlike your boy, Chimaev. Word. Bottom line is, when Chimaev fought ranked guys, it was in the welterweight division, and it's too light for him. So he really struggled against Gilbert Burns and got injured against Usman. So it is what it is. We don't know really yet with Khamzat until he fights Robert Whittaker. It's a major jump up. And when he beats Robert Whittaker, you can't say anything. Kenneth Bruner weighing in says, when when Whittaker gets smoked in the first round, I don't want to hear any excuses. And that's what I'm saying too. Bo Jackson's back says, sure, he has a good chance of beating Whittaker. That's not the point. The point is he barely fights. Hasn't shown to finish top guys. and get sick very easily. Chimaev is a wimp, more or less, in the punch bowl, if you will. You know, so guys are going back and forth. It's only going to get more heated as we get closer and closer to the fight. At Homework says, respect to Rob. Yeah, Robert Whittaker called for this fight after the fact. I mean, he called for this fight. He wants to fight, and you got to give credit where credit's due in this one. Bottom line is Robert Whittaker is not ducking Khamzat. He went out there and just dominated Ikram Aliskerov, a guy that was basically 15-0, 15-1 if you count the Khamzat loss. And people think as he beat Aliskerov that way that he's going to beat Khamzat. But let's not forget, Khamzat beat Aliskerov. So, you know, we really don't know yet. The bottom line is, as UFC fans, you know, I'm a major Khamzat fan, but just as UFC fans down the middle, we want to see Khamzat and Whittaker at their best, so we really know what's up.
He's gon' fight, wait, he's gon' fight, wait, hold your breath till the end of the night. Last fight of call, UFC at its height, yeah. Bringing that thunder with all his might, saying step up, wanna fight, hold up, think twice, gladiator, assassin, reckless, no abandon, walk through that cage, he'll leave your ass stranded.